Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founder of Future Logic Advanced Concepts and the co-founder of the Lewis Latimer Fellowship Program at the Edison Awards, Jonathan Cropper.
Good evening, beautiful people. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here. I have a 20-year friendship with Frank Bonfilia and relationship to the Edison. And I always come to this event leaving feeling so much smarter and more energized than when I arrived. But I wanted to tell you the quick story of this Lewis Latimer concept, which really began on August 28th, 2020, last summer. And that was the day when Chadwick Boseman died. He was the actor who played the Black Panther, the only black superhero that was a technology-driven, James Bondian, inspirational figure for millions of young people, not just of color, but young people around the world. And it was that day when I felt this ache in my heart and said, it's time to come up with a new platform to celebrate black innovators that tend to be hidden, oftentimes in the shadows of the big corporate and institutional organizations from where they were born. Called Frank. I said, Frank, what about this guy Lewis Latimer? Who's Lewis Latimer? Come to find out, Thomas Edison had a partner who helped him improve upon his current ideas. He also worked for Alexander Graham Bell. So here's a black man who was involved in the invention of electricity and the invention of the telephone. And we said, well, why don't we create a new Edison-like program, kind of modeled on the MacArthur Genius Award, that would identify a group of Black Panther superhero inventors and innovators, and we'll bring them to light. And so that's what we've done, and it's a real pleasure and an honor to introduce you to Lewis Latimer. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lewis Howard Latimer, and my story is seldom told. I was the youngest son of Rebecca and George Latimer, former slaves who bought their freedom with the help of a black minister and the community. I was born in 1848 outside of Boston and attended only grade school. The remainder of my education was self-taught. I had an insatiable appetite for reading, drawing, and learning in general. At 15, I joined the Union Navy during the Civil War, and after a short stint and an honorable discharge, I returned to Boston, where I worked at the Crosby & Gold Patent Law Office and taught myself mechanical drawing and drafting. I became the head draftsman at the age of 20 and married my beloved Mary by the age of 25. In 1880, Hiram S. Maxim, chief engineer and electrician for the U.S. Electric Lighting Company, was very impressed with my talents and hired me. I took this opportunity to learn about the electric industry. During my tenure with Maxim, I invented an electric lamp with a carbon filament in 1881. A few years later, I began my association with Thomas Edison, serving as chief draftsman and expert witness on the Board of Patent Control. In 1886, I invented an apparatus for cooling and disinfecting. It was the forerunner to the AC unit and primarily used in hospitals. 4 years later, I wrote my first book, Incandescent Electric Lighting, a practical description of the Edison system. I was the only black man to join the Edison Pioneers in 1918, an elite group of 28 innovators and visionary men who worked for Edison transforming the electrical industry. I retired at 75 and kept busy enjoying the arts and painting and music and consider myself as a bit of a Renaissance man. Today, I look at the world and see that all culture that thrives needs the nourishment provided by risk-taking heroes. Without openly recognizing and celebrating these heroes, the culture would be devoid of its critical inspiration layer that educates the next generation of aspiring citizens about what is possible and encourages bold thinking at a systems level. The widespread omission of African American innovator contributions to the advancement of society has had a particularly deep and misunderstood impact on future generations. I'm so very honored that the Edison Awards is channeling my spirit and recognizing me as Edison's principal collaborator. It's finally time to fully celebrate and acknowledge Black modern-day hero innovators that remain largely hidden. Our inaugural group of visionaries have been identified as a cohort that both I, Lewis Latimer, and my dear friend Thomas Edison would certainly welcome into our inner sanctums.